Hello there. Well, it's officially mosquito season here, and I am really missing the cold and wind and snow. I mean, it's nice to have summer back, but the mosquitoes, I don't know if it's really worth it or not. So, kind of have to keep moving here. I've left the main camera at home this time because as much as I hate to do this, this is sort of more of a recap video because it's been about a week since I did the last one, and in that time I've done a lot of shooting when I had time. And the reason why, also another reason why it's a recap, is because the few times where I was out shooting, the light was extremely dynamic. It was really changing really rapidly. 30 seconds even made a huge difference in the light. And well, when it comes to the decision, am I going to record a quick thing saying, hey, look at this light, take a look at this and I'll show you the picture when it comes in, versus I'm actually going to get the shot and make sure I get the light. Unfortunately, I'm going to choose getting the shot, and then I'll just recap later in a video. So sorry about that this time. I will try to be a little more on the ball with it in the future. But for now, we are just out wandering. The dogs are getting their morning run. And yeah, we're going to recap. So, as far as the recap goes, where to start? Well, there was a shot that I was mentioning with the, there was that shot that I mentioned that I was doing way back with the buttercups in the marsh. And I ended up actually redoing that shot. I ended up going back again, doing it again, taking my circular polarizer. I had my tripod, and the bugs weren't as bad either that time. So I ended up redoing the shot, getting a much better angle. I was able to actually sit down and think about where I was sitting, the light, etc. And I actually got a pretty good shot out of it. I may actually post two photos, we'll see, because one of the photos was really neat. The lighting was perfect, but I forgot to set my circular polarizer. So yes, I had the circular polarizer on the camera, but it wasn't actually rotated to maximize the effect. However, I like that shot better, and I'll tell you why, and I'll show you why. The second shot that I did, I had set the polarizer properly, and the polarizer was so powerful that the sky is super dark, like very, very dark blue, almost heading for black. And as cool as it is, it was one of those things that's like, this is more of a surreal landscape, not an artistic landscape. It wasn't really the look I was going for in this shoot. So I'll show it to you because it's a neat shot. And I mean, it has some creative potential, but it wasn't the shot I was aiming to create. Going forward a couple days, I met up with an old friend of mine on the one day. We hadn't really seen each other in a couple months, and we got to do a great visit. But while I was waiting to pick her up, I was sort of circling around on some of the back roads in the area, and this is where I come back to the really dramatic light, the really quick moving clouds. I didn't have time to actually pull this camera out and actually talk about what I was doing. But where I was, there was big waves of clouds rolling in off the lake, and the sun was it's about 2 hours before sunset at the time. But even then, we were getting dramatic color in the clouds because of the light filtering down. The The clouds had some pretty dramatic shapes, and you could literally see the patches of sunlight rolling across the landscape. And so I had to, stop and take some pictures of that because that was totally awesome. And yeah, there were some really cool scenes. There was this one with a tree in the foreground, and then just the green field and the dramatic clouds off in the distance. And I really love that shot. I think it's one of my favorites I've done recently. And then on top of that, there was, after I met up with my friend, we were walking down the beach and we were talking about, just talking about life, which, we don't get to chat about life often enough. Who does? Anyway, we were just chatting about it, and we were walking along talking about photography, actually, because, she knows a little bit about it, but she's, well, I wouldn't say I'm the complete expert on it. The day I stop learning is the day I'm done. There's always more to learn. That's the one thing I've learned, is that there's always more to learn about the art. Anyway, we were chatting about depth of field, and she asked for a demonstration of, narrow depth of field, deep depth of field, etc. So I did a shot of this this grass on the beach, on the sand dunes. And so I got a shot, and it actually turns out it was a really nice shot. So and I think that's about it as far as the shots that I got this past week. That's about all I've had time for, working almost every day now, it seems, and driving people around the rest of the time and all. So I don't have as much free time as I'd like, or as much photography time as I'd like, I should say. So just muddling through it all, as it were. Yeah, that's about all I gotta say right now. It's the weekend. Not that that means much for me. I think Monday's my actual weekend at this point. So, well. Anyway, yeah, that's about all I got to say. And I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to go and shoot next. I keep meaning to get to Awenda Park and photograph the rock beaches there at sunset. It's on my list. It's going to happen eventually. But when it happens, I honestly don't know when it's going to happen. So, fingers crossed that that's going to come soon. Keep watching. I'll keep you posted. I'll be making sure this goes up on YouTube as well as on my Facebook page. I'll probably just link it from YouTube to my Facebook page. So if you're watching, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.